just quickly, Honorable, let me ask you. A lot of people have talked about billions of naira for wardrobe allowances, but the Senate President had said no, it's not exactly. And we saw the head of the RMFAC go met with the Senate President, and they said that it's actually about 500,000 that goes into wardrobe allowance for a lawmaker annually. But give us an understanding of how these allowances work. How much does a lawmaker, senator, and a member of the House of Representatives get per month?
Well, I'm not too sure what the Senate gets for wardrobe allowance, but I don't think that of the House of Reps is exceeded more than 300,000 a month at any time. And the reason for this is because the subheads under which these allowances are broken are old established patterns of bureaucracy. And because these subheads are not created by the lawmakers themselves, they rarely haven't got a say as to which subhead is paid and which subhead is not paid. But I know that in the maximum, you couldn't possibly get more than 350,000 for wardrobe allowance. And I don't think they are the only category of public officers that get these allowances. I think these are stereotype allowances that we will have to look at critically, given the austere times that we are in.
All right, because I mean, just why is it that what the lawmakers get is always enshrined in some kind of secrecy? Why is it that we do not really know just how much they get? We find it difficult to do that, to know exactly. Give us an understanding why it's always enshrouded in secrecy. We should, they are public officers, don't we deserve to know exactly what they earn? Why is it difficult for the lawmakers to state exactly what they earn?
Well, I think you more than deserve to know that. And I think that in the House of Reps, for example, basically in my tenure there, we never earned more than 682,000 per month as basic salary, together with some of these allowances that we have talked about. And then I think where the big issues are, of course, other monies that involve committee activities, constituency activities, domestic and foreign travels, and etc. Now, these are usually unforeseen expenditure profile, which of course unveil in the course of a given session of the parliament. You really cannot tell how many foreign trips that any member can make at the beginning of a session. So, of course, as the session goes on, the trips are regulated by the activities as they shall demand, both from within national requirements and international obligations. So I think that it's pretty easy, because I know that even with the passage of the Freedom of Information Act, it has become much easier to assess exactly what they get. And I think the part of it that you might not be able to determine, as I said, are the roving expenses, which are not fixed expenditure, because they do come as the situation arises. But otherwise, in terms of car allowance, in terms of newspaper allowance, personal assistance allowance, domestic staff allowance, and etc., that is something that you can easily get from the appropriate revenue commission.
All right, let me quickly ask you. You mentioned vehicle allowance, because I remember vividly that during President Obasanjo's tenure, the former president of Nigeria, the issue of monetizing vehicles came, official vehicles, and I understand that at that time when the monetization issue came, you cannot really say you're going away with a vehicle. You've got to pay for it at the end of the day. But I know that now a lot of the lawmakers still get official vehicles, which they don't have to pay for.
No, I don't think that's correct. I do know that the vehicle allowance really, I think that you must understand that there are probably two types of vehicle that we are talking about now. I think the vehicle allowance now really is to get you is a lump sum of money which is deductible from your eventual earnings to enable you probably settle down and acquire a vehicle for your use. And I think that is repairable, because from what we see on the vouchers, at the end of every month, we see deductions on that. So that really, It's not a bonus, neither is it a gift coming to you.
But Honorable, you
Yeah.
know now that every member of a committee gets a vehicle to do their committee work, isn't it?
Yes, on the committee activities, there are vehicles designated for committee activities.
But they don't have to pay for that, do they?
Well, it depends. At the end of your tenure, if you wish to go away with that, then of course that will be assessed at the open market rate, and considering depreciation, wear and tear, it's not obligatory that you take that. But in the event that you wish to take that, the assessment is done and an appropriate fee is paid on that.
All
You
right,
know,
all right. Just
because,
quickly, because of our time,
yeah.
tell me, because of what we see today, just how easy is it to cut down the monies that goes into the salaries and allowances of lawmakers at this time? Because a lot of Nigerians are saying that it is immoral for Nigerians not to be getting salaries because of the financial and economic situation in the country. Yet we have our lawmakers going on with millions of naira and put together billions of naira annually that goes into the National Assembly.
Yeah, well, I think the mood is ripe to review that now, and I'm sure that, like many have expressed, they too will be willing to make the sacrifices that we require at this time. But I think barely that it should not be dealt with in isolation, because there are quite a number of other things that have to be done. We have to look at the general size of governance in other arms of government too. We have to realize that more than 70% of the recurrent expenditure really is from the executive arm of government, and it is important that many parastatals that are not supported by law and the very many other duplicated parastatals are harmonized in line with the existing reports. So I think that the National Assembly budget, which is less than 3% of the national budget, can be dealt with now that the country wants a review. I'm sure that the present leadership of the Assembly is willing to lead the sacrifice drive, and I'm confident that members will accept this sacrifice and make the appropriate adjustments in line with this austerity period that we are in.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of attention comes not only now, because a lawmaker in Nigeria is perhaps the highest paid in the world, and we know that our economy is not on a good standing.
Yeah, that's correct. No one knows the statistics. I've seen figures branded about like $189,500 per annum. And if I look at the breakdown that has been fed into the social media, it does appear to me that it's far from being correct. But be that as it may, I will consider the allowances and the salaries reviewable at this point in time, given the fact that we cannot run an assembly outside the economic cycle of a country. So what is going on in the country now is an invitation for the National Assembly, the presidency, and indeed all other agencies under the presidency to make the sacrifice and cut down severely the cost of government by pruning down the number of agencies and reducing the allowances, and largely because the salaries are based on grade levels and so on, and salary reduction at this time may further exacerbate the situation than ameliorate it. But as far as the allowances are concerned, I think that can be negotiated. Conversations can take place in that one, and we can bear the sacrifice until situations improve.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on the program, Dr. West Idahosa, a former member of the House of Representatives. Well, it's no doubt a very critical moment in the nation's history. Children are crying of hunger as their parents are not paid their salaries. No excuse will be acceptable to this class of Nigerians. What may be important now is to seek urgent steps to resolve the many problems confronting us as a people. And if you ask me, I think now is the time to take action to change this country. Well, thank you so much for being such a great companion on the program today. On behalf of the team here at the China Television headquarters in Lagos, I'm Sean Wakimbale. Till next time, bye for now.